Hey, it's your pal Mike J from Flourish. Sometimes it can be challenging to get players to invest in the fiction of the game. A lot of times players will come to the table and they have their character sheets in front of them, they have all their books, they understand the mechanics, and they're really interested in seeing what their character can do mechanically. They're not as inclined to think about their character in the fiction of the game. We don't want to pressure them too hard. We want them to come into the fiction of the game as much as they can. And there are a few small tricks we can do to get players to invest more in the fiction of their character and the fiction of the game. One of the easiest ones, one that Matt Mercer has done many times in Critical Role. Matt Mercer describes, how do you want to do this, right? And I've seen other DMs that have picked up that idea too. I like the phrase, describe your killing blow, right? When a character finally kills a monster that they're fighting, when they either blast with that big spell or they hit with that sword and they finally finish off a monster, I ask the player, describe your killing blow. And it's a nice and easy way, a non-confrontational way to get a player to think about their character in the fiction, think about what happened and describe it. And it gets them to be a kid again, right? It gets them to think about how their character would act in the situation, which is really outstanding. Another one is describe a physical characteristic of this creature. So instead of using numbers like Troll 1, Troll 2, or Troll 3, when a character damages a monster, you can ask them, what is an interesting physical characteristic of this troll that you fought? And they'll come up with goofy stuff. A lot of times they'll go with Mohawk. I've had players that have a list of different interesting physical characteristics and will go through the list. Whatever it is, it's better than Troll 3. And it's a way to get them to think about what that monster looks like. Sometimes it even has an effect on the story, a small effect on the story. You never want to punish players for coming up with an interesting physical characteristic. There are also times where it can be kind of interesting to bring that physical characteristic in. I like those two because they're straightforward, they're simple, they're very specific, and they tie in mechanical focused players are going to recognize what a killing blow is. They're going to recognize how to identify a monster. It's an easy trick to do, and it works really well. A third trick is to ask players to describe what happened in the last game session. So it's easy for us often. We generally, hopefully, have some recollection of what happened in the last session's game. But when we ask our players, they have to go back and think about what happened in the game. They will often think about it from the fiction. Sometimes they'll think about it from the point of view of their character. But you'll still get an idea about what mattered to them. What were they paying attention to? What elements of the plot did they pick up? And it's a way to do a little bit of beta testing on your campaign. What are they paying attention to? What are the things that interest them? What are the things that stuck out for them? And you can listen to that and pick it up. And sometimes you want to be careful about correcting them. Only correct them if it really matters. Only correct them if they really picked up the wrong thing, or they have the wrong name, or there's just something that's not right. Don't correct them on every tiny detail. If they didn't pick up the detail and no one else at the table picked up the detail, it's okay if that detail goes away. It's a great way to get an idea about what your players are thinking about in the game and in the fiction, and it's a good way for you to understand how you can tune the game around what they're paying attention to. I hope you enjoyed these tips. If you did, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you want to give back, if you want to help support my work here, you can do so by going to my Patreon page at patreon.com/slyflourish and signing up. Thank you very much. Have a great day.